Okay, boys and girls, we have our assessment over a big fish for Max. We're going to put our name at the top and our number. We're going to fill in the circle next to the word that fills the blank. He wants to blank a fish. Small, catch, or said. What answer best goes in the blank? He wants to small a fish. He wants to catch a fish. Or he wants to said a fish. I want you to fill in the circle next to the correct answer. Remember, just choose one answer. Number 2, this is a blank way home. My choices are good, what, for. This is a good way home. This is a what way home. Or this is a for way home. Choose the correct answer, fill it in really good next to the word, and then we'll go on to number 3. She has blank socks. And, up, no. She has and socks. She has up socks. Or she has no socks. Number 4, Mom will blank the ball back. Said, put, or eat. Mom will said the ball back. Mom will put the ball back. Or Mom will eat the ball back. Number 5, I blank to go home. I want to go home. I take to go home. Or I tree to go home. Okay, you are going to open your test booklet like this, and we're going to do this page over here. It says, fill in the circle next to the answer. Please thank him for the gift. Which word has the same sound as th in thank? So we're looking for that th sound. Is it telling? So think thank, telling. Do they have the same sound at the beginning? Thank, taps. Do they have the same sound at the beginning? Or thank, theme. Do they have the same sound at the beginning? You're going to fill in the circle that has the same th sound at the beginning. Number 7, the ship is big. Say ship. Which word has the same sound as sh in ship? So we're looking for that sh, sh sound. School, ship. Do you hear that sh in school? If you do, mark this answer. Ship, show. Do you hear the sh in show? If you do, mark this answer. Or ship, stop. Do you hear the sh sound in stop? If you do, mark this answer. Number 8, my mother is thin. Say thin. Which word has the same sound as the th in thin? So we're looking for the th sound again. Thin, thick. Do you hear the th sound in thick? If you do, you're going to mark this answer. 10. Do you hear the th sound in 10? If you do, mark this answer. Trash. Do you hear the th sound in trash? If you do, mark this. Now we're going to number 9. I want a ball. Say ball. Which word has the same sound as the A in ball? So, ah. It almost sounds like an O, doesn't it? So instead of the ah sound, we're going to listen for the ah, ball. Ball and well. Do they have the same ah sound? Well. Do you hear ah? If you do, put the mark here. Am. Do you hear ah in am? If you do, put a mark there. What about talk? Do you hear the ah sound in talk? If you do, put a mark there. Now let's go to number 10. Let us go for a walk. Say walk. We're listening for that ah sound again. Which word has the same sound as a in walk? So it's not walk, it's walk with the ah sound. Look. Do you hear the ah sound in look? What about call? Do you hear the ah sound in call? What about was? Do you hear the ah sound in was? Okay, mark the correct answer. Now go back and make sure that you have a mark for each single question. We don't want to leave any blank. Now's the time when we can use our reading book to help us. So you may pause this video and get out your reading book if you would like. I highly recommend that you do. You're going to open the book to Max's A Big Fish for Max. And we're going to answer the questions. What did Max catch in his net first? So we've been talking about sequence, the beginning, the middle, the end. We're looking for the very first thing that he caught in his net. Was it a big fish? If it was, mark that circle. Was it a red ball? If it was, we're going to mark that answer. Or was it a black ship? If it was, you're going to mark that answer. Number 7, why did Max want a fish? Did he want a fish to eat it, to play with it, or to give it to Ruby? So see if you can find in the story where it said why he wanted a fish. If he wanted it to eat it, you're going to mark this answer. If Max wanted the fish to play with it, you're going to mark this answer. If Max wanted the fish to give it to his sister Ruby, you're going to mark this answer. Number 8, what is A Big Fish for Max mostly about? Well, we've talked a lot about how to find what a story is mostly about, or the main idea. And where do I tell you to look for the main idea of a story? I want you to think about that when you answer this question. What is it mostly about? Is it mostly about how Ruby called the fish? How she called it? Is it mostly about how Max got a ship in his net? Or is it mostly about how Max got a fish? You're going to mark the answer that says what A Big Fish for Max is mostly about. Number 9, where did Max go to catch a fish? So we're looking for where he went. Did he go to his home, the pond, or a shop? Where did he go to catch a fish? And number 10, how can you tell that this story is make-believe? So we're looking for the choice that says that we know cannot be true, because make-believe means it's not true, it's made up. Max is a rabbit. Is that made up? Could a rabbit be named Max in real life? What about Max walks to the park? Could a rabbit walk to the park in real life? What about Max can talk? Could a rabbit talk in real life? Please mark the correct answer. When you've done that, we are going to look at our story. I'm going to read it once, and while I'm reading it, I want you to make a movie in your head. So I want you to think about what is going on in this story as I read it. The title is The Nest. Matt and Sam go for a walk. Matt spots a nest in a bush. What is in the nest? A blackbird sits in the nest. Small blackbirds sit in the nest. The small birds eat a lot. Then they rest. Sam spots a cat. No! Matt and Sam must help the birds. They must stop the cat. Okay, now I want you to read it with me. Point to the words on your test and read it as I read it. The nest. Matt and Sam go for a walk. Matt spots a nest in a bush. What is in the nest? A blackbird sits in the nest. Small blackbirds sit in the nest. The small birds eat a lot. Then they rest. Sam spots a cat. No! Matt and Sam must help the birds. They must stop the cat. Okay, let's see what questions we need to answer. What do Matt and Sam do at the beginning of the story? Do they swim, go for a walk, or play ball? Let's look back at the very beginning of the story. Read the sentence. It says, Matt and Sam go for a walk. This is the very beginning of the story. So you're going to fill in the correct answer of what they did at the beginning. Did they swim? Did they go for a walk? Or did they play ball? Number 12, what does Matt spot in the bush? A mitt, like a baseball mitt, a nest, or a cat? So we're looking for what he spots in the bush. Let's go back to our story. Let's find the part where they are spotting something. It says, Matt spots a, what does he spot? A nest in a bush. So you're going to look at number 12. Did he spot a mitt, a nest, or a cat? Number 13, what happens after the small birds eat a lot? They get big, they fly away, they rest. So after they eat a lot, let's find out. Let's find where it says they eat a lot. Right here, it says the small birds eat a lot. Then they rest. So after the small birds eat a lot, do they get big? Do they fly away? Or do they rest? Number 14. What does Sam spot? A cat, a nest, or a blackbird? Let's look and see what Sam spots. Oh, it's right here. It says, Sam spots a cat. Well, we know that cats like to eat birds. So that's why they are in a hurry to stop it. What does Sam spot? Does he spot a cat, a nest, or a blackbird? Number 15, what happens at the end of the story? Let's look. It says, no, Matt and Sam help the birds. They must stop the cat. So at the end of the story, what happens? Do Matt and Sam take the birds? Do Matt and Sam stop the cat? Or do Matt and Sam run away? Mark the correct answer. Okay, go back and make sure you have an answer for each of these. Now we're to the very end. You've made it. You've worked so hard. This is our look back and write. This is what we do on Thursdays. So you are going to look back at page 30 and 31 in your reading book. Where does Max get the big fish? Write about it. Use evidence from the story to support your answer. You're going to tell where Max gets the fish, use examples from the story, Try to use correct spelling, capitalization, punctuation, grammar, and sentences. Okay, so where does Max get the fish? We're going to start with a capital letter. Max gets the big fish. So that should be the beginning of your sentence. Max gets the big fish. And then I want you to look on page 30 and 31 and tell me where he gets the big fish. And you're going to fill in the rest of the sentence. Once you've filled that in, make sure you end it with a period. Make sure you can read it to make sure it makes sense. And then you're going to close up your test. Check to make sure your name, I forgot my number, and number is on the front, and you're going to put it in the black basket. Awesome job. Are you kidding me?